everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today with ZBroadway. And today we are joined by Chris Andrews. And Chris is an incredibly accomplished dancer. He was in the In the Heights movie that premiered this year. And he has danced for many music artists such as Imagine Dragons, the Jonas Brothers, Taylor Swift, Khalid, and he was in the top 30 of 2 seasons of So You Think You Can Dance. Now he's pursuing being a professional dancer / choreographer. And Chris has appeared on several commercials and ads and been working alongside choreographers such as Christopher Scott, Luther Brown, and has also choreographed for Gwen Stefani, 9%, and So You Think You Can Dance. So thank you so much, Chris, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I guess we'll jump right into the questions. First, of course, kind of how did it all start for you? What was your audition process like, and kind of your reaction to getting the job?
So pretty much how it started, my journey in LA, I'm really close to my dear friend and mentor, Christopher Scott. And, I assisted him on multiple things like Gwen Stefani and 9% and a lot of other projects he's done with like Paula Abdul and whatever. And I'm usually his assistant, for movement, or we just workshop a lot of things, and we're crew too. So, it's always nice to dance with family and friends. And so this project, I knew it was coming. I knew In the Heights, but I knew what In the Heights was, but I was not a theater kid growing up or anything, but I knew how popular it was, and I knew what it was, the story was, evolved around. So he was talking about it was going to be a movie. I was like, oh, might be so big. It's this could be big, and Lin-Manuel is so amazing with Hamilton. And I was like, okay, so I could see, maybe he wants to do a Hamilton down the road. I was just thinking all the things. I was like, oh, must be a snowball effect. So I would hear Chris always playing it if I was helping him soaring through paperwork or something. And he was just blasting the music all the time, trying to get fit prepared. And I remember he was trying to get me on the skeleton crew for this process, just to help with movement. I couldn't do it because of if you're aware with SAG stuff, SAG AFTRA. I was not a part of SAG at the time, so they're like, you cannot do it, and I was like, okay. And but the whole thing was with the audition process was they wanted to be all Latino dancers and cast, for the dancers at least. So they wanted to do strictly, or John felt it was necessary. And even the terms like Latinx was very a rocky topic of how do we go about saying these kind of things. So he just got off doing Crazy Rich Asians, which is that's his domain. He knew exactly what he wanted to do and what the stories need to be told and what needed to be done necessary. So he wanted to do this. He wanted to do that, the same thing with a culture that's not his. He wanted to learn more than he, wanted to assume he had to do. So this was a whole learning process for all of us. And he went into the process all right, let's just do New York as the only audition location. Let's just hire everyone from New York since it's only based in New York. And from my point of view, it seemed as a choreographer, I could only imagine if you're okay, I want to use people I don't know. And I'm gonna go to a place I never really worked with these kind of dancers, but there's people you've used all in life that you understand and know that are reliable. They bring the best out of your work. So Chris was in that kind of role. So he fought for a LA audition, and that was really hard to get. And so it happened. So I remember, I was like, oh, I'm definitely not getting on the movie, because they were filming, or they were rehearsing and still trying to find Nina and Vanessa back in 2019 before even COVID happened. So they were that was the last two, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong, don't quote me on this, but they were trying to find more leads, and they were still trying to rehearse dancing and stuff and all that. And when they found the leads, they were like, okay, cool. So Chris was in New York for 6 months before that, and then came back to LA for the LA auditions. And I got a thing from my agent talking about, you want to submit yourself? I was like, yeah. And because I thought I was getting a chance because I wasn't SAG. So I was like, okay. So I go and I audition, and I get a call back. So the callbacks are more partnery, salsa, dancing. So I was like, okay, I'd never done salsa really. So it was me and another popper animator. And I was like, oh, we have the lowest of chances to get it. And I remember I left it. That audition was like January of 2019, or yeah, 2019, and around April I'm like not hearing from them at all. And I got an email saying I was pinned, and that's like 75%. Like they just want to know your availability for the whole summer or however long you can be available. So I was like, I'm free. Even if I had something, I'm like, I have nothing.
Yeah.
And which is really important. It's like if things like this, just know you're available. And I did that, and I didn't hear back. So I'm a dance teacher, and I was like, all right, if I don't hear anything back, I'm just gonna go teach and just move on with my life. So I'm in Maryland. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, and I was in Maryland teaching. And Chris sends me a call, and he's like, "Hey, if you can fly yourself out, you're only supposed to be a New York local. If you can fly yourself out, I need you in this 96,000 number because we're gonna use poppers in the water. I would love to get you in a number." And I was like, "I'm in Maryland. I'm gonna take a mega bus right now." And so I take a mega bus and I get on the on the team of 96,000. I'm learning things last minute, kind of like there's like a couple other people that was like plugged in last minute too, and because it just needed a lot of dancers. And when they saw how versatile I was doing not just popping, I was doing other like jazz or like dance hall, Afrobeat, or just straight up hip hop. They're like, "Oh, let's like help you out and let me give you some other numbers." And I was like, "Cool." So like it was just like luck, like just luck, because I moved on with my life and that movie sucked me back in. It was wild. Yeah. Was not expecting it. I hope that was a long answer, but yeah.
Well, it's
That was really
very,
interesting.
very good answer.
I chatted to Ashley. I'm like, this is really interesting. I'm wondering if you, I'm sure this is an impossible question to answer for anybody, but favorite memory or memories on set, just like one or two standout moments or something like that.
Yeah, so my it always goes back to Chris Scott, and I can't really think anyone else on that team without him. Like I've been inspired by Chris since I was in like middle school when I used to see Step Up 2 and LXD, sorry. If you know what that is, that's Lead Those Extraordinary Dancers. That was a YouTube series that dancers are superheroes, and I was a big fan of that. And anything he touched, I thought it was gold on So You Think You Can Dance. And the reason why I got on So You Think You Can Dance was to work with him someday, and to find out we're a crew through like just relations. I was like, we're crew, this is nuts. So when I saw Step Up 2 and I saw one of the step ups and I saw the dancer Matt Chad, I always made an oath that I was like, I wanted to be in a movie or be highlighted as a specialty dancer in a scene of whatever, but I'm doing my specialty. So when I was in the pool, and 96,000 is like 80 dancers on set, so like if you're not seeing one part's probably one like section being filmed, but you're probably running over your part that's about to be like your next on the block to be filmed. So like you're not really watching, and if you can peek, you can peek a little bit and give some support. But the six of us poppers behind Sunny, everyone was kind of like, one, it was raining that day. Everyone was cold. It was like the only day that summer in New York, I think, was rainy those 2 days. And it was the pool scene. It was crazy. So everyone is crowded around the camera and they're like looking at us six. And we had like a lot of extras behind us, but like it was the craziest moment because everyone was really impressed with our popping section. And it was like that was the most milestone moment in my life, to be like, oh, I'm doing, this is the moment, like I'm being a popper and we're dancing in water, which I'd never done before. I don't think people have seen popping in water on a big screen like this. In my head, I was hyping it up more than it was, and it was really special for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I watched that little section where you're behind Sunny, and it's like it's just so like cool to watch. And then I guess next, kind of going back to the beginning, like when did you start dancing and when did you kind of know that you wanted to perform kind of as your career and as your job?
So I was an athlete before anything. I used to play basketball, but I was a very bad student and child in general. And I had no really direction. I moved around a lot growing up, and I wanted to play basketball for this high school team, and just had a misfortune. I couldn't try out, and this dance teacher found me in the hallway, and I helped her put out flyers for this talent show. And she convinced me if I was to do this talent show, I could be on this dance team. And I did the talent show and got audience favorite, though I didn't win. But like, she was like, yeah, that like you can take classes and be on our dance company, which is standard in a county I was in Maryland. And that's where I kind of started dancing at 15 years old. And when I graduated high school, I was teaching and battling, and it's just all like I had a lot of mentors kind of like swoop in and like take me under their wing and do the whole like, you have potential. Do you want to be a dancer maybe? And I'm like, I don't know. I want to be a graphic designer, or I want to like, I don't know. I had no direction. I didn't think I could control my life the way I wanted to. Um, and you know, I'm blessed for all my like mentors like Lance and Daniel Stin Guillermo and Christopher Scott, because they showed me that like you can make your, you know, your visions come true with like hard work and dedication and like love, you know, with others and being nice to people, being good to people. And yeah, I really out like really foundationally wanted to be a dancer around 20 years old when I did So You Could Dance. That's like the first time I was like, oh, I'm on TV now. Okay, this is crazy. All right. And I didn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I still like, I'm here sitting here talking, like doing a Q&A right now. It's like wild, you know, it's just like, I don't know. We're on the same spaceship, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's really, that was like the day I was like, I was on the stage on So You Think, and I was like, this is nuts. I'm on camera. Who would have known? Who would have known?
Yeah, it was looking forward to do.
We're wondering what inspired you to begin posting art on your account, the Insula series?
Oh, we're getting into that. Yes. So the Insula series is about my past traumas, and I started this like art in high school as like I was in AP art, the only AP class I had. So it's like was not the bright, but like, you know, it's like I had that, and I really wanted to try test myself with just like, instead of reaching for what's artistic, I had like always that like I'm trying to be artistic, but I didn't have any truth behind it. So that I wanted to make it as personal as possible. So anytime I've had a traumatic moment or anything that I held on to that was traumatic, I made art about it. And I wanted it to represent two artists that I'm inspired by the most, which is Basquiat and Keith Haring. That's why it's not like either one of them I'm stealing styles from, but they're both blended in a way where like it's so me, and how the concepts I'm making the art about is like so connected to me, where I haven't even heard anyone saying like it reminds me of this or it doesn't remind me of that. It's just like people do accept it as its own thing, and I kind of, it feels crazy that I'm getting away with that, but it's like it's what inspires me the most, and I get that out of seeing both of their work. And yeah, anytime I had traumatic moments, I would have to go like, I have to draw something right now. And it's to the point now I have like a couple of pieces, and I don't remember the earlier ones what they were about. Like I don't remember what situations made me upset or sad. And I can look back and people are like, what do you think about this, or what was that about? And I'm like, I do not remember. And it's great. It's like art therapy for me, honestly.
Yeah, I was looking at them yesterday, and they're just absolutely beautiful. If you guys can, you know, check it out, that would be amazing because it's just incredible. And next, like I know you've done so many like amazing different projects, but what is kind of a dream project for you?
Oh, well, I guess if we're getting it on camera, so so a big thing I want to do is make dance films that are solely dance and no dialogue, not a silent film either, nothing to read, but just understand, like if you can read someone's body language with this like a very interesting eye contact, like how sisters may talk to themselves without speaking any words. That's the way I want to make films, and like really test how people can search for a story in a movie than like being spoon fed it. And I know like some stories and how it's formatted or template of how a film works and story works, you need these things to make it work. But really just trying to be different and like allowing myself to fail with how, dance is seen on camera. Because I feel like dance is ultimately more better represented live when you can feel the energy in the space. But it's something about getting it on camera and it that is so mysterious, and I feel like there's some avenues that haven't been explored yet. And one of the things too, like John Chu has done that, it's like a one big step further to that. And I had to be in this process to see how he worked and how Chris worked. And now I have that in a chip on my shoulder, and like, I put that little experience in my goodie bag of, other experiences I've had in my life. And yeah.
And then Eli, you can do 7 and then we'll go back. Just so we
Okay.
kind of alternate.
What happened to the time? We're wondering what your favorite project you've ever done in the Heights, or saving dance, what favorites. Yeah.
My favorites. Oh, I mean, In the Heights is probably like the big cookie right now, but and it hurts too because sometimes I can't watch it more than like I only seen it twice right now, and it gets I get sad watching it because it's over,
Aw.
you know. Yeah, it's like a thing where you have to, and at least that's me. I want to project that on anyone else in the movie. Like I'm pretty sure people are like that's me, I'm there, I'm on the screen, But like
Uh,
it's a thing where I see myself kind of baptizing myself in the water, watching myself in a memory. Like it's a memory now,
yeah.
and it's forever going to. Like I've seen it once with the cast and crew. Like Chris did a Q&A with, in LA, and I saw that with everyone that was in it, and it was the most crazy. And that was my first time back in the theater, and I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. And I felt so proud of myself and everyone around me. And then I saw it with a couple of friends a second time, just with like a couple people like sprinkled in the theater because it's social distanced, and it was not a fun time. I was just like, oh, this is how like some people don't get what's happening here, and I was super critical about what they were being critical about maybe, and God was going super in my head. But that's a me thing. But I think it's really nice to know that like I feel like I have to not let this be what makes my identity,
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
and I feel like a lot of artists should hear that too. Like, don't if you do something great, like do not let that be your name,
Mhm.
because there's always something you can make that would be 10 times better. And if you believe you can make it, make it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like In the Heights probably it, but I ultimately did love doing Taylor Swift the most
Oh
because I
yeah.
got to really, I don't know the terms or loosely if I was an assistant or associate choreographer on that one, but I did help out with choreography for Blank Space and Trouble, with Nolan and Christopher Scott, and it was such a crazy process to be there from the start to finish, and it was a whole Scooter Braun drama behind that one, and he was trying to keep her music from her and like try to keep her master, sorry, and she was fighting, and then we just did it, like we just did it, and it was like, oh, we're okay. And then I made some stuff for Blank Space, and it made it into the piece, and I felt like, oh, this is how it feels to like run a rehearsal process, like some process where Chris was just like, can you make up this section? And I was like, yeah. So and there's moments where I'm making it, and then he's like, well, you have to obviously sit in the middle, you have to be in the middle for that section.
Yeah.
So if you watch the performance and it's like the chorus is like the first chorus, and we do like a wave thing, like that's where I took, my little section, I like to call it my little crumb of choreography. It's really rewarding, and I felt really powerful, and it felt like that's all I needed for the rest of my life, is to say like I got to dance and make something I did on a big stage like that. Um, yeah, I'm happy enough to let that be, if I choreograph and have myself, but I would love to just choreograph and not be in it anymore. But it was really rewarding, and I still love what we did with it. It was really nice. Yeah, we had Crumpers, like the creators of Crump Dance was in trouble, and I think that was the first time Crumpers have been used. The two creators of Crump has been used as a focal point and featured like that. I think one of them danced for Beyonce, and they were kind of like hidden in the back in some rafter, kind of like being silhouetted, kind of with some bone breakers, and they didn't really get highlighted. But like these ones, they were like right next to Taylor, and it was like it's Taylor Swift. Like one of these two creators of Crumpers are next to Taylor Swift. It was like the most you know, crazy reality choice, but it was really nice, and it was really special for me to even work with the creators of Crump, you know. So it was really nice.
Yeah, the whole experience like just sounds so fun, and how like your choreography was, you know, used in such a big, awesome performance, and that's just really amazing. And then next also I wanted to kind of talk about, I saw that you did a dance cover of When the Sun Goes Down from In the Heights with Jasmine Raphael. And I just kind of wanted to ask you kind of like what was your inspiration for that? Kind of was that like after you filmed the movie already, or was that kind of before, like with anticipating?
That's a good question. I don't remember if it was before or after. That's a good one. I know for sure it had to be before, because I know Jasmine hit me up, and like Jasmine's also a really dear friend. She was in America's Best Dance Crew. I looked up for her for years, and she we just move and create together well, and we try to collaborate on other things, and just, you know, in our busy schedule. She's on show, I'm doing this thing, and like just time gets ahead of us over here in LA, and which is like I'm tired of. I wish we all had time to work together. But she was just like, I heard you're doing In the Heights. It had to be before, because she's like, I heard you're doing In the Heights, and I love that musical, and I love this song, and I want to use this song, and I want to choreograph it with you. And I was like, woo, okay, I don't know, I haven't seen it, but like, you know, I listened to the song, and we got a little like small studio for like $25 an hour, and we like made it up in the time we did. And it was just we wanted to really just capture what it felt like for someone to be ripped, you know, having to make a choice to go somewhere else, but like trying to hold space for someone too, and comfort, but also trying to comfort themselves with like, I'm about to go and I'm trying to go through a thing too. So just the give and pull of like a goodbye, kind of. And we wanted it, I think I was trying to get into it as very a dancey thing, but I like that we have some acting moments in it, and I never done like musical theater really. And I wanted to do it justice for her, because she liked the song. Like she was more about it than I was, but I was so about it that she was about it. So I was like, I really want to experiment too. And next thing you know, they're like dancing on the side of a building. I was like, ah, I was like, this is great. I was like, this is awesome. So I'm glad, like, you know, we did our thing, and then it was also toppled. You know, I was just like, oh, like, I love those moments. I never get overshot. I'm like, they took it to the next level. I was like, this is great. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna say, if you guys want to watch it, we'll try to put it in like my link tree or ZBroadway's link tree or something, or you can just find it on Chris's page, because it's so cool. It kind of reminds me of, it's kind of a mixture in my brain of like when you're home and kind of like when the sun goes down, just kind of like the visual of it, because you guys are in like a park, so it's kind of like that when you're home aspect of it, but then also like the song is obviously different, so it's just kind of like a cool mixture of the two different ideas. And then Eli, next.
Yeah, and that part, we filmed it in LA.
Yeah,
We filmed it in LA, and then we just found a little park that looks just like New York. We were like, we have to film it here. And it just like worked. I never even knew that area in LA existed. I was just like, they have like a New York park here. I was like, what is this? Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's
had
just
to
so
be.
visually stunning. Is amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I've been wondering this for a while, but how is it just filming in the 96,000 in that pool, which I mean, I feel or if you don't know, apparently a freezing cold day, and the water was just elaborate on that experience on that day.
So I never knew that pool existed. I lived in New York for a year back in like 2004 to 2005. I never knew that pool existed, but I was in the Brooklyn. Never been to Bronx. And they said it was a big pool when we were rehearsing it, and like we were all starting like, you know, you can only imagine, like it seemed like a little bit, but they had us like I had to learn stuff on the steps. I had to learn stuff on the sides of the pool. I there was things that were like, Chris, we're gonna take you out of this and maybe just you only do that. And then they're like, actually go back and do that one. I was like, okay. So because they didn't know how versatile I was. So I learned a lot of pieces of it. And then it was time for like the pool. So they got like Warner Brothers had like rented a pool space that was indoors so no one can like record or anything, I assume, and indoor pools. And we just had a lot of hours just like workshop and stuff. And I remember Chris would go like, yo, like poppers, can you like stay act like longer if you want to experiment? Or he had us on the side already working out our stuff, and I would do like b-boying stuff under the water for when the ballet dancers are on point and stuff. And just he was trying to like, he's just a good orchestra of like having all the styles working on in a system at the same time. So you know, that pool process was great. Now on the first day, I think it didn't rain. It was like it was like getting a little drizzly, and we're like, oh, we have to stop because like we can't really practice. It was like practice film day. And we had to get in the pool and still have rehearse. So we stopped filming, and then because people were getting cold, and then the next day it was just like raining. And he was like, we just need to like film. And no one was really speaking up about how really uncomfortable they were. Like no one was really like, you know, dancers just so strong, performers are so strong. They're just like, you know, we'll do whatever you need, man. And no one was really speaking up. Surprisingly, I'm not just saying it because I'm on here. Like I generally was fine. Like I was so fine in the water and I was not freezing or anything. I could tell it was cold, but I was fine. And not that it was valid, it was freezing, but like I'm used to, you know, showering with cold water growing up. Like it's fine, right? So I'm in there and there's people next to me like purple lips, like pale, and I'm like, what's going on? And like people like this older lady had like, you know, shit happened. I'm just like, oh no, this is, and like everyone on, you know, was generally like, you know, like, oh, this is bad. Like let's like just stop, you know, let's just like cut it, you know, real quick. And like we had to film the things we did, and then the sun came out. And we were like, okay, we can start filming again. And it was like, you know, pulled it, you know, it was like, you can never know. But like, also, we didn't speak out about how it really was. And it was, you know, like I felt like, you know, I wasn't Chris's assistant in that moment. But I was like, yeah, like I helped the prop, like if it's like sandbag, like the overhead shot with the pool scene where everyone's in the circles. I forget what that's like a term for like that dance formation, but like the overhead shot with Vanessa in the middle, we had to do like a sandbag in the middle so they can anchor her like where she needed to be, and plant where the camera needed to be for the crane. So I went out and I swam out and like dropped I did extra stuff that was really cool. I felt like I was part of the crew. It was like really nice, but the pool scene for me was I learned a lot about like water. Like I learned a lot about water and you know, not pushing people to their limits. And when it happened, when we were all filming everything outside the pool, it was really great. It was unfortunate every time we had to be in the pool, that's when it was cold. But every time we start filming outside the pool, it was great weather.
Oh yeah, it seems like it. Because I mean, like, did you guys kind of film during the fall, or like what kind of season was it?
It was summer. It was like the
summer. Okay.
Yeah, like doing the right. Yeah, it was like the doing the right thing. Like block party was happening in New York. It was like that like time. It was like all June 2019, July. It was like I was only there for months. Yeah.
I must have been in New York then.
Oh, it was, yeah, because it was hot as hell every other other day, but those 2 days it like drizzled and rained, and it was like really an overcast.
Oh,
so, like,
I was just thinking how I think I was in New York in that time, so I missed it. I should have gone to Washington Heights.
It was crazy because some people knew, like when we were filming the Vanessa number, you know, we were like in Hell's Kitchen, and everyone was on their phones like, and we're all just like sitting on our ones, like everyone is like, it's like a fishbowl. We were just like, oh, everyone's seeing what's being filmed, and then like out of nowhere, Lynn's walking across the street. They're like, oh, this is what is this? What is this? And then like it got crazy. It was just like, and some people had to be like, we are filming a movie, and like had to put like we had extras kind of intimate for the shot, but they were like extras might have to go across the street. And we had to like claim those areas and like ask the city to like, I don't know how they did it, but they did it. It worked out, but anyway, so you know, it's whatever. Those things happen, but I was really grateful for that pool scene. It was really, for me, I was, you know, everyone, it's a joke, like we were just like we were freezing our asses off, but like it was fine. I think we all were grateful to be those many dancers in a pool. That like jumping out the water bit we did.
Yeah, looks so cool.
And my whole thing was when I was there too was this is a summer movie. This is at a pool. This is the #1 scene they're gonna put in commercials. I was like, this is gonna be crazy. And I was just like, I'm in the part that's gonna be on commercials for the summer movie. I was like, this is it. And then COVID happened. I was like, we're not gonna be in the movie anymore. I was like, okay. I was like, maybe they're gonna rework stuff. I don't know. But
I just find it interesting how the original release date of the movie was a whole year ago. And then, I mean, looking back, we're already at that time and the movie is out, and it was definitely worth the wait. I loved it.
Yes, I like absolutely love the entire movie.
It was nice for me to get, I mean, I haven't been in a movie theater since probably like 2019. So
yeah,
it was
same.
back in that.
Yeah, it was.
I'm only in the theaters for Marvel stuff, so like this was like a great thing to not see a Marvel movie and go back to the theaters again.
Yeah, and I was actually in a movie theater the other day, and I could hear like Carnival. Oh, you guys are frozen a little bit, but I could hear it through the walls. It was hilarious. Because I was watching something else. Okay, am I back? Am I back? Okay, and then also Chris is back on mute. And I have one more question before we kind of wrap up this. And so kind of, would you mind sharing with us kind of like a quote or a person or just something that kind of motivates you to just keep going each and every day? Just something that, you know, like you can just think about or look at, and it just kind of drives you forward if you're like not feeling super great in that moment, or just something like that.
Oh, something that motivates me. To get to do something where I go, I like this. Like I am super behind it. This is what I always wanted to do, because I feel like you can't do anything for no one else. Like whatever you're doing in life, you got to do it for yourself first. Because everyone said, kind of, if you asked me that question, I was like, oh, I want to inspire people. If you've done like 10 years of whatever you do, that's, you know, Broadway, dancing, singing, acting, and you did not inspire one damn person, are you going to quit? Most likely, yeah. You know, you're like, oh, I'm not getting fulfilled. But if you just do it for yourself and keep, you know, I'm such an open-minded person, so I want to push my limits, honestly, about like what I find, you know, find myself proud about in myself, because I usually do it for other people. And this year at least, I want to practice like making myself happy in my work, and you know, doing that for myself.
Yeah, I think that's great. I can hear the echo. So kind of just thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Chris, so much for kind of, you know, letting us do this interview with you. I know Eli and I had an amazing time just getting to talk to you about the movie, and kind of hearing about all of your different experiences. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was really nice to talk to y'all, and y'all had really great questions. And
yeah, thanks. And I guess we'll see you guys next time. So bye.
Peace. Peace.